Kamala Harris recently dropped her very first ad since becoming the presumptive nominee for the 2024 election. Now, I think political ads are good for a couple things. You can either define your opponent, or you can lay out the vision you have for the United States. These ads should convey some sort of message or some sort of understanding of how you might govern or what type of policies you might work towards if you were to become elected. So I wanted to take a look at Kamala Harris's new ad and compare that to one of Trump's ads. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of Trump's recent ads. He released it about a week ago, and the video is titled "Make America Great Again." So let's see the type of vision Trump is laying out for America.
Trump has left the building. Over.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency.
What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign, securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
Breaking news out of Palm Beach,
The FBI
Florida.
has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's
against a
Mar-a-Lago
former
estate.
president has both sides of the political aisle up
Is
in
a
arms.
dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
7 years. They hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state.
As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
All right, so I guess that was that. So just doing a vibe check about the ad. The first thing that stood out to me, the ad doesn't really show much diversity. All of the close-up shots of the crowds, not very diverse. Guess that's not a huge deal, but I do think it matters to some people. I think it kind of felt like it had darker tones. There was some lightning, flashing cop lights, things like that. I didn't get a very uplifting vibe from it at all. And I think the overall concept of the ad was probably something along the lines of fight, fight, fight. You had him walking side by side with Dana White and made it seem like he was walking into the ring is kind of like the idea that I got from it. But I could be wrong about that. But let's go ahead and get into more of the substance. He said he has an impressive record and he fulfilled his promises, but he didn't mention what any of those were. I can't think of many accomplishments Trump got done in his first term besides the 2017 tax cuts. I guess you could point to the First Step Act as well, but he didn't mention any of these things in the ad. A lot of the time spent was about the raid on Mar-a-Lago, which seems pretty wild to me considering it's pointing out how much of a criminal Trump is. He literally stole classified documents and then obstructed justice when the FBI tried to get him to return them. They literally waited for over a year, and he still wouldn't return them. and they were forced to break down his door to go retrieve them. I don't know if that's super smart. I guess this ad is really targeted to only Trump's base. I don't think this is going to reach out to any moderates or any independents. I don't think stealing classified documents and then hiding them and obstructing justice is a good selling point for you becoming the next president. But that's just me, I guess. He talks a lot about the political establishment and how the DOJ is out to get him and how it's been weaponized against him. He uses language like they hunted him, which is not language that is super impressive to me. I think Trump is a criminal. This ad does a good job of pointing out some of the criminal behavior that he has. So like I said, I don't think this type of messaging is going to resonate with anybody outside of MAGA. But maybe that's the point. He talks a lot about the ominous they are coming after you, but Trump is standing in the way. I guess that is the case. I guess that's the way he thinks of himself. I think he really wants to portray himself as a strong man in this ad. I really did get that type of vibe from it. Tries to portray strength, maybe. But overall, the ad was not that impressive. It felt very self-serving. He talked a lot about himself, a lot about how he's the victim. It was just overall grievance narrative, which is all we hear from Trump these days. And then he talks he used language like justice will be done. Is he hinting at some sort of retribution or something like that? Says, we will take our country back. Who is we? And who are you taking it back from? And then he had this really odd quote. He said, the more a broken system tells you you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must push ahead. What kind of heuristic is that? He's basically trying to undermine our institutions. He's trying to cast doubt. This is a common thread that we see through all of MAGA right now. They don't have any trust in our institutions, and therefore they want to tear them down. Maybe that's why he is using this type of language. It's certainly not appealing to somebody like me, and I certainly don't think it is appealing to moderates or independents. So overall, I don't think this was a great ad. Like I said, a lot of grievance narrative. I think the one thing that I could point to that was kind of aspirational is he said that America will rise to every challenge, every danger. But again, he didn't really define what those challenges were, what the dangers were. It's all just really vague stuff. And he definitely did not outline a vision for the country. What type of policies will he be fighting for? Why would you not talk about those things in your political ad? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He talks about obliterating the deep state, and he probably doesn't mention how he's going to do that because the way he wants to do that is not very popular at all. He wants to fire tens of thousands of federal employees and replace them with Trump loyalists. I don't think that is popular with the American people. So overall, I don't think this was a great ad. Grievance narrative all the way. Trump is the victim. He's standing in the way of they coming after you. Not super impressive, but let's go ahead and move on to Kamala Harris's ad. What type of vision is she going to lay out for the country?
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too.
The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Dang. I thought that was pretty good. Right off the bat, I noticed that this ad shows a bit more diversity. This ad looks a bit more like America. This is what I would expect to see in a political ad. We have to remember that we are a melting pot. There are people from all walks of life here in America, and they should be included when politicians are talking about their constituents, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But let's go ahead and get down into it. I really liked the simple framing that she had, and she just posed a simple question. What kind of country do you want to live in? And then she goes on to say that Donald Trump will take us back, but Kamala Harris is choosing freedom. I think that is an excellent way to frame this race. I think the left needs to reclaim the freedom terminology. We're fighting for freedom. We're trying to give people more rights. We're not trying to take rights away. So I think Kamala using this terminology is spot on. And she's talking about freedom to get ahead, not just get by. She's talking about freedom to be safe from gun violence. She's also talking about freedom as it refers to reproductive rights. These are all things that I would like my president fighting for. I think this resonates with the majority of Americans. She goes on to say that she wants a future where no child has to live in poverty, where everybody can afford health care, and no one is above the law. These are all aspirational things. And I really like that she points out that Donald Trump should be like every other American and be held accountable for his criminal activity. So I think Kamala Harris did a great job defining her opponent and then laying out the vision for America. I think she really ended it well. She says, "We believe in the promise of America and we are going to fight for it." I think that is aspirational. I think it is uplifting. I think overall this ad carries a positive message. And I have a really good understanding of the types of policies Kamala Harris will be fighting for if she's elected in November. I think this is a good ad, especially since it's her very first ad. I think this is a really good way to define the tone and tenor of her candidacy. So I think she did a really good job. And when I compare it to somebody like Trump, Kamala Harris takes the cake every single day. She is fighting for an America that I want to live in, not trying to take us back, not trying to implement things like Project 2025 and carrying out Trump's authoritarian ambitions. It sounds like Kamala Harris will be fighting for all Americans, and I just don't get that type of feeling when I listen to Donald Trump himself or I watch his political ads. So I think Kamala Harris really knocked it out of the park here. She did an excellent job of defining a type of vision that she has for the future. And I think she blew Donald Trump right out of the water. So I don't know what else to say, but I guess that'll do it for me on this one, folks. If you got anything out of this video, if you could remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe, maybe share it with a friend or two, I'd very much appreciate that. If you think I got something wrong, or if you disagree with me about something, feel free to drop a comment below. And if you want to learn about Trump's connections to Project 2025, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. And I will see you guys on the next one.